For the great British debate this hour, I'm asking, do you believe Reform UK could replace the Tories? Well, let's speak to my panel. Joining me now, political commentator Lee Harris, also trade unionist Andy Twelves. Andy Twelves.
Good afternoon. Do I think that they could replace the Tories?
Yeah.
I don't think that they could replace the Tories, no, I don't.
Why?
I think that it looks like Robert Jenrick is going to be the new leader of the Conservative Party. He's the most, I actually stole this from Lee in the green room. He's the most, he's the most reformish candidate of the Tory leadership candidates. I think he'll attract a lot of the kind of lost Tories that Reform have picked up at the last election. And also, if you look at the Parliamentary Reform Party, Nigel, Rupert and Lee, they're not getting any younger. In 5 years, will they really want to run for Parliament again? Lee will have done 10 years in Parliament at that point. Rupert won't be that bothered. Nigel, he'll have been in the public realm for years and years and years by that point. Will they really want to be doing that coming up to, 2030? I don't think so. I don't think that the Parliamentary Reform Party has legs to continue on to another term.
Well, some of the Labour MPs had been waiting in the sidelines for the full 14 years the Conservative Party were in charge. So I don't know whether that argument washes with me. Lee Harris.
I would love for it to happen because I'm still so very angry with the Conservatives. But it's very, very unlikely that it's physically possible to do it. However, as I was also saying in the green room, it was. I think that the environment is different now. I think things are different. I don't think you can compare what's happened in the past to what may happen in the future. So all of these scenarios like, it seems a bit like the SDP, which is what you were saying earlier. I just don't think that's relevant now. The political landscape of this country has completely changed. The voters are not as loyal as they are to a single party. They're very happy to move around. They'll vote for whoever they think. And I do think that what Reform are offering is more in tune with the bulk of the British public. That's my personal belief. I believe that there was a gaping hole for Reform that they have filled. And will that translate into, they got their MPs, so genuinely I wasn't that sure that they were even going to get any MPs. They got their MPs in, that's great. Can they go from 5 MPs to 300 MPs? I think that's a big ask.
Well, they came second in 98 seats out of this, so they're not really that far behind. It's our electoral system that didn't give them a little bit more, as it should have done. Remember, they got more votes than the Liberal Democrats, but Liberal Democrats ended up with 72 seats.
I mean, we don't have a proportional representation system,
Thank God.
That's not going to change very soon. Realistically, we'll have first past the post for, I assume, many, many years. So the electoral system doesn't really favour the Reform Party, and also it's quite hard to build a party. What they've done is no mean feat, and I say that as a paid-up member of the Labour Party. Going from basically nothing to having 5 MPs and a decent spread of councillors, it's quite impressive. But really, it's like a startup. It's quite difficult to scale up to that kind of big IBM level kind of organisation. I just don't think Reform UK have got the internal organisational abilities to do it because it's very difficult.
Yet.
But they are democratising the party. Look, I went to the Reform UK conference just as a punter like everybody else, and I'm going to all of the conferences, so there's no bias, there's none of that. But I went to the conference and I have to say, there were so many amazing people there, wonderful people. They're not far right or all this nonsense has been going out there. No, they were very welcoming, they're very nice to me. And there were so many young people as well. I was really quite impressed with the engagement of young people. That was the main thing that I took away from there. So I think that the Labour Party, if they don't sort themselves out, the Reform UK are one to watch, and the Conservative Party, I think the Conservative Party know that.